Surprise, shorty. I have no idea what that means. Alrighty, we are live. I think, I hope. Let me just have a little look here. Let me get all my tech stuff sorted. Yep, I can see myself. Perfect. Hopefully you can see me, guys. If you jump on tonight, if you catch me live, say hello in the comments. I love signs of life. If you're watching this on replay, you can hashtag replay so that I know that you've connected with me at a later time too. Hello. I have a presentation to share with you tonight. It's only going to be quick, probably about 10 minutes. And I'm tired, and I know you are too. It's the time of year that we're all just like running out of steam. And I feel it. I predict it every year. And it's exactly why I'm launching a program in January, the Weight Loss Mindset Transformation Program. We're not starting till January 16th because I know after a decade in the fitness industry that people have great intentions for what they're going to do in the new year, but we get to new year and we're just exhausted. And we just feel like we need a hot minute just to gather ourselves. So if you're feeling just tired, I feel ya. I'm here. I still want to have these conversations with you because I feel like, even though I'm not a big one for being like new year, new me, I think the new year does have this beautiful energy and beautiful feeling to it where we can make some decisions about what we're letting go of and what we want to create more of in our life. So the conversation that I'm opening up tonight is so simple. This isn't going to be heavy. What I'm going to do within my program in January with the 14 women that have already registered, still room if you want to jump in, man, we are deep diving, like, we're going to go deep and get to the source of what has been holding them back. Yeah, we're going to crack wide open. And that is an intense process. It's an immersive experience. It's not something that I can just throw up live and, do in 10 minutes. But there are definitely things that I can suggest to you here and now that can just support you in making the most of moving into a new year with intention. If you're a person that can relate to getting in their own way, you know what you want and you just sort of, you know what you want, you know where you want to go and you just can't seem to get there. Well, tonight this is for you. So I'm going to stop fart-assing around and jump straight on and get talking about it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I created a little presentation just 10 minutes ago, guys, because I'm tired. As I said, the presentation in itself isn't amazing. It's more just like I just made a little slideshow for myself to just nail all the things that I wanted to say. I was sitting and I was thinking of you guys and I was thinking, how can I show up and support them in moving towards the new year, just feeling like they have a bit more clarity and confidence, because that's what I want for you. I know the women that are doing my program are going to have the most unbelievable year of their lives because they're going to not only access parts of themselves that they didn't even know were waiting to be tapped and opened up, but they're going to have such clarity about where they're going for the rest of the year. But for us here and now, there are still things that we can do. So let's do it. We're talking tonight about mindset for 2021, right? And getting out of our own way. So I started talking about it just before. So many of us, right, can understand that we do have these deep driving desires. We know that there are things that we want for ourselves, for our families, just in our life. And sometimes we do have these desires. We can see the vision for ourselves and we think, yes, hell yes, I'm ready to receive. I am open. I want to call it all in. Yeah, all the things, right? I want to achieve in my life this year, but there's something stopping us. You can make the vision board, you write the affirmation, you set the goal. And as you go to get going, you just get to a point always that you just hit an upper limit and you don't know how to keep going. And it's just so frustrating. That's who I want to work with, the woman who is forever just hitting her own upper limit and can't seem to break through the threshold to take her to a life that is just rich in the experiences and the things that she wants for herself. Yeah. So, what do we do? How do we make sure that we don't go into 2021 and hit the same threshold that we always hit? The first thing that we need to acknowledge is that not everything in our life is great at once. Yeah. Life ultimately is a massive balancing act. And there are people that will say, you can never have everything in balance. Things are going to be, always a little bit out of place. But I think that is bullshit. I think if we really sit and we reflect, we can create a balance within ourselves. Yeah. It won't be a collective balance. It's not going to be the same for everybody. If we have cups of fulfillment in our life, the way that we fill those cups is going to be different based on who we are and what we want, right? And as we go through the seasons of our life and we grow and we change, not everything is great all at once. We need to acknowledge that. Sometimes, yeah, if you're stretching yourself and you're focusing on one thing, say you really want to get a promotion at work or you're studying and you really want to focus on building your career, you can put all your eggs in that basket, so to speak, and other areas of your life suffer because of that. I think we can all relate to that. When you become a mum, you put so much of your time and energy and resources into your little family unit and your social life suffers. Yeah. There are so many different examples I can give of this. This is just kind of part of evolution. Something at some stage is usually sucking in a way that we don't want it to. So, what do we do? The first thing is to acknowledge that. And I've written here self development 101. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I've spent the last 10 years or more, showing my age now, as just like a self development junkie. My friend, I have done all the courses, read all the books, done all the training, been to all the seminars. And here's what I want to tell you. Whether I was paying $10,000, $1,000, or $100 for the self development that I was doing, there is one exercise, one activity that every single self development expert, guru, master, whatever they tried to call themselves, there was one exercise that they all did. They all had their little spin on it, right? They all made it just different enough that it was their unique exercise. But ultimately, this one exercise that I'm going to quickly share with you today is just like self development 101. And if you've never done this for yourself, it's a really interesting thing to be able to do. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is see the big picture of our life. It's been called lots of different things, like the wheel of life is what it's usually called. There's lots of different names for it. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking your life and looking at it as a big picture, and you're breaking up different areas of your life that matter most to you. Now, the most common and easiest way to segment your life would just be health, mindset, wealth, and relationships. Yeah. And what we do with the wheel of life is just look at those areas, take a good hard look at them, and rate their relative quality level so that you can uncover which area of your life actually needs more attention than others. So usually you rate it from 1 to 10, 1 being piss poor and 10 being extraordinary. Yeah. Um, and ultimately, it's not about judging yourself, and it's not about, it's not a report card that you're meant to look at your life and be like, oh, I'm doing so well in this, shame on me for not doing well in this area. It's just about sitting back, looking at your life as a big picture and paying close attention to what areas of your life you might have been neglecting. For me, those 4 areas just don't quite cut it. And I've spent some time, working out what would my life as a big picture, if I was to cut it up like a cake, what would each slice represent? What would each delicious slice of my life be so that when it all came together, it was one delicious cake? And for me, there's no kind of right or wrong to this, but for me, it's physical body, relationships, finances, celebration, career/mission, and emotion and meaning. These are the areas of my life that I spend a good amount of time reflecting on, evaluating, really thinking about. And so for you, you could either take, I'll go back so we can see it, those 4 areas: health, mindset, wealth, and relationships. If you just wanted to start there and keep it easy, you could rate those things, or you could create your own. You can make as many or as few as make sense to you. The point is that you know for yourself what areas in life matter to you. If you don't know, if I said to you, what are the main areas of your life that really matter, that bring you meaning, that you want to be, feeling successful in, you want abundance in those areas, you want to feel, the best comes from these things in your life. If you can't answer that, there is where we stop today, friends. That's your task. Go away and consider, what areas of my life do I want to know that I'm giving attention to? What areas of my life do I want to make sure are just fulfilled and that I'm giving my energy to? I remember a long time ago, I was away overseas and I met someone, and I just had one of those like dinners, a random dinner with this person that I had such a strong connection with. And we just had the most in depth, random conversations about everything. And it was one of those encounters where you just open up and you bare your soul and you say things that you've never said to anybody else, because it's a random person that you probably will never see again. I've actually remained very good friends with this person. But anyway, he said to me, we were talking about things, and I was talking mostly about work and my fitness pursuits and how much I enjoyed boxing. And he was kind of like probing for more, what else lights your fire? And I didn't have much more that I, could willingly or, you know, generously talk about. There was nothing much more that I was really excited about. It was just those 2 areas. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, come on, Lena, you got to be more 360. Don't be one dimensional." And that has stuck with me forever, because I sat back in my chair and I thought, shit, I have become pretty one dimensional. It's work and it's training, and that's all. And there were other areas of my life that were severely suffering because I was just giving my energy to those 2 areas. And so from that point, I sat back, and I had been fortunate enough that I had done enough self development to know about the wheel of life, that I went away from that conversation and I really considered, what other areas of my life would I like to be able to be really excited about and passionate about and, consumed by. Can't just be work and fitness, surely. Blech. That actually sounded disgusting to me when I said it out loud. I was like, that's really not who I am at my core. That's not what my soul feels like it would like to experience in this life, but it is the life that I'm living. So I had some big decisions to make about how I was going to show up differently and where I was going to, put my energy and my time and my resources. So the first thing that you need to do is identify the areas of your life that need your attention. So sit down with your list of areas, or, make a pie chart, do it however makes sense to you. I've just like done it in kind of like list format sometimes and just place the numbers underneath it. But if you're a visual person, you might like to make it into a nice pie chart. If you go ahead and you just type Wheel of Life into Google, you'll see a million different beautiful representations of it. And that might give you some inspiration for how to make it look for yourself. So you need to just identify the areas of your life that need your attention. This is important. A lot of the time we talk about, generating energy behind the things that we want more of, which is important. Yeah. But sometimes we can just fall into the trap of just wanting to succeed and achieve. So we put more energy behind the things that we are already doing well in. Yeah. But if we want to look at our life from that bird's eye view again, and we know that there are other areas of our life that need our attention in order for us to feel deeply fulfilled, if you feel like there's something lacking in your life, it's usually because there are areas that are meaningful to you that you're not paying attention to. You could be doing so well at work and come home and be absolutely freaking miserable. Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it's usually because we're neglecting other areas in our life. For me at the moment, I'm lacking in the area of celebration. Celebration is a really important one for me. And in celebrating, what I mean is just really being present to moments of just like joy and achievement and fun, and making sure that, I'm just living from a place of gratitude and expressing that. It's long dinners with my husband. It's, to be honest, with my son at the moment at home, because I have so much time with him at home, I'm fulfilled in that area with him. We have a lot of fun. I'm very silly. I'm very present with my son. But in terms of my relationship with my husband and the things that we have been able to achieve at work this year, how we have survived, excuse me, I've been talking all afternoon. I've been on Zoom calls all afternoon. The way that we have survived as a small business in 2020, I'm so deeply proud of. It can bring me to tears sometimes when I sit and reflect on it. Just, our community and, what was brought forward in both Steve and I. I'm so proud. And I know that I haven't taken opportunity to really sit into that and celebrate it and, just create meaningful moments. And I'm a person that I don't like to rush through life. I really like to marinate in moments that feel meaningful. And so moving into the new year, that's the one area that I'm looking to really improve. That's what I'm working on for myself. Oh, I need water. I don't have a bottle of water with me. Anyway, we're almost done, so I'm going to push through. So the other thing that I just wanted to note is that you might have two areas that are low at the moment. So for some of us, we can very quickly identify one particular area that needs our attention. You might have two that are low. And what we usually notice is that the two areas will be interrelated. So the example that I have here is finances might be low, and your relationship might be low. And you might be able to reflect and think like, yeah, we are actually struggling financially, and that's putting a lot of pressure on the relationship, and the arguments that we are having are all about the finances. You might be spending all your time and energy thinking about, how do I improve the relationship? How do we improve our communication? How do I make him understand me? When really, you also need to be working out, how the hell do we sort out this financial mess that I feel like we are in? Yeah. So it can be really nice sometimes just to have the clarity around what areas actually require our attention. So once you have identified your area or areas, you might have two that you want to improve, make a decision. Yeah. You're going to make a decision about how you are going to improve that. And we do that very, very simply by, first off, recognizing the habits and patterns that contribute to that area being low. And we want to demolish them. I'm coming in strong. Sometimes we can spend so much time talking and justifying and excusing why certain areas of our life are quite low. It's irrelevant at some point. Sometimes we just have to look at the way that we are impacting, the way we are causing these areas of our life to be perceived as low by us. And we need to demolish the shit that we are doing that is getting in the way of us being able to say, that is brilliant, that is perfect, that is exactly how I want it to be. We deserve a life that we are just so completely proud of and in love with. And when we're doing things that get in our own way, not good enough. Is it? It's not for me anyway. So we need to just demolish them. And the new year is a beautiful time to be like, okay, this is the shit that I do that contributes to this, that is just not good enough. It could be as simple as, if your relationship needs improving, it could be as simple as you just scroll on your phone when you're sitting on the couch with your partner every night, and that is just like bringing the vibe right down. It's capping intimacy. It's not providing space for connection and conversation. So get rid of your freaking phone. It could be as simple as that, or it could be a little bit more complex. Yeah. Anyway, we decide what habits and patterns we are removing, getting rid of. Yeah. And we demolish them. Goodbye. And then we make decisions about what we are going to do. And we actually make very firm decisions about the actions that we're going to take. So it's not just saying, I'm going to improve my relationship in 2021. I'm going to fall in love with my body in 2021. Not good enough. There's a beautiful quote. I don't know who said it. I don't know where I read it. But decision without action is just a wish. And we're not wishful thinkers up in here, right? Of course not. You're in complete control and command of your experience in this one beautiful life. So we need to make decisions. Yes, important, but the action that we take is actually the most important thing. So you have your area that you want to work on. The next thing that you need to do is identify 3 things that you can do every day that are going to positively contribute to that area. If 3 is too much for you, pick 1. It doesn't matter. All it matters is that you are taking action. You are considering it. It is in your consciousness. You're aware of it. You're doing something every day that is going to positively impact that area so that the next time you go to rate the areas of your life, you're not giving it such a low score. It will improve over time. Now, what's important to note here, guys, is we're not looking at producing tangible outcomes usually. What we are chasing is an emotional state. Yes, it's a little bit woo-woo, but it truly is. And once we can understand that, we realize just how quickly we can actually shift things and how quickly we can actually improve our lives, and that we don't actually have to attain anything or go anywhere or control anything if all we need to do is just shift our emotional state. No matter what area, even if you picked finances, it's not about making more money necessarily, right? What we actually want is to feel more secure, maybe so that we can feel more generous, we can feel more abundant, we can feel safe. That's what we're actually chasing. The money is just an energetic exchange to be able to feel that way. Yeah. If you want your relationship to improve, it's because you want to feel love and connection and intimacy and passion, not just so that you can have a warm body next to you on the couch every night, right? It's the emotions that we are chasing. And this is good news because we are in control of our emotions. I've said time and time again, that is the one thing I learned as an adult that blew my mind, because I grew up in a household where it was just said time and time again, I can't control the way that I feel. Yeah. My mum was 0 to 100 in her emotional displays, right? It was very unpredictable, very chaotic, quite traumatic a lot of the time. And she would apologize afterwards and say, I just can't control the way that I feel. And when I learned as an adult, actually, we are the masters of our own destiny, and I can always take full control and accountability for the way that I feel, it was mind-blowing and completely transformational and completely freeing for me. I no longer felt like I was a victim to my circumstance or a victim to the environment or a victim to other people. I had full command over myself. So what's important to note is that our emotional states are formed by our habits mostly. Yeah, day to day, the way that we feel, it's just our habits that are creating those emotional states. And our habits are created by our beliefs, our thoughts, and our actions. It's as simple as that. What you do on a day-to-day basis, your habits, formed by your belief, your thoughts, your actions. So, an example I have is you just need to start being really mindful of the way that your habits are interfering with the way that you believe those areas of your life feel. Yeah. So if you are struggling, say you rated finances super low, if all the time when you go to spend money, you feel guilty every time you buy yourself something or you invest in something or you go out to dinner or whatever it is you do, when you spend money, you feel guilty. Why would you actually want to make more money? More money, more guilt. If every time you have a financial transaction, it feels like shit, why would you actually want to make more money? So if you set goals for yourself that involve you actually generating a higher income, but really in the back of your mind, your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions are in opposition to that because you create a sense of guilt and uncertainty and a low vibration every time you spend money, you're actually not creating the space and the energy to create the income that your goal is tied to. If your actions include complaining about bills and you hear yourself saying all the time, oh, I can't afford that, right? Yeah. It's putting you in a really low vibration. And I know that sounds very woo-woo to some of you, but it is so true. It is so true. Our beliefs, our thoughts, our actions create our habits. Our daily habits create our emotional state. And it is our emotional state that dictates whether we choose to continue to believe that we are capable of doing the things that need to be done to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves. When you feel empowered, capable, positive, optimistic, you are more likely to do the things you need to do to achieve what you have set about to achieve. Yeah. And our emotional state is created by our daily habits. Whew, are you following me? I told you I'm going on a quick ride today. If you work with me in January, we're going to make this so clear. We're going to have the time to really dig deep into all of these things and for you to uncover what you do why it's been holding you back, and what decisions you would need to make in order to just fast track yourself in every area of your life that you want to see progress. Years ago, how long was it now? 4 years ago, something like that, when I moved to Geelong. I moved to Geelong after I had separated from my first husband. And that divorce was kind of devastating in terms of I lost everything that I had built um, with my first husband. I walked away from that marriage. And in walking away from the marriage, I walked away from our assets, our businesses, just everything. I made a clean cut exit. That's a story for another day, and one that I will tell one day. Because I learned so much through that process. But when I moved to Geelong, I started my own business with the little money that I had, and it was really overwhelming because not only was I by myself for the first time in 11 years, I didn't have the financial backing of everything that I had built for 11 years either. Um, and so I kind of just took a bet on myself by starting a new business from scratch. It was my idea, and I created Sprout Tutoring. And, initially, anybody knows when you first start a business, right? You're not generating a huge amount of money straight away. But I just had so much belief in my own, my capability, I suppose, my resilience, my tenacity, my sticking power. I knew I was going to make this business work. I had so much passion for what I was doing, but I also knew I was never going to give up. And it was really important to me that I cultivated gratitude and prosperity, whether I had $100 in my bank account or $1 million in my bank account. I wanted my energy to be so open, so clean, so bright, regardless of what was in my bank account, that actually what I decided to do, rather than ignoring or neglecting the figures in my bank account, I would make myself take my phone every day, open up my little banking app, and look at my business account every single day. And I'd look at the number that was in there. And initially, you can imagine, as a small business owner that had just started, that number wasn't, impressive. But I would look at that number and I would say, thank you, more please. Thank you, more please. And I would push myself to just be really proud. And rather than look at that number and freak out and think, oh my God, is that all I have? I had just turned 30. Is that all there is? I would force myself to sit there and look at that number and cultivate a sense of just gratitude and appreciation and respect for myself and trust and faith in the process of what I was doing. Thank you, more please. And I would do that every day. And that created the energy, the momentum, the belief, the thoughts, and the actions that I needed every day to be putting my whole self into that business. I was fully committed. I wasn't ignoring or neglecting the reality of my situation, and I was fully accepting and embracing it. And the end of that story is the business took off and I sold it. I don't even think I had it for 2 years before I was able to sell it. So it's a great story. But what is important to note is that when I had opened that business, finances were like, if I was rating finances, that was like stressful. I was full of anxiety. I was full of just like trauma and heartache and heartbreak and disappointment. And so that really had a long way to go before I felt like, yeah, my financial health is great. Love it. I'm there today, but I wasn't always. I had to do the work. That's what I was saying earlier on in that first slide. Different seasons of our life, we're not always going to feel great in all areas, and that's okay. But it's important not to neglect them. It's important to know which areas need our help and what we are going to do in order to boost them. You need to make those decisions for yourself. So you need to, coming back to you, my beautiful friend, choose the area of your life that you want to improve. Pick the 3 habits, the 3 things that you can do, every day. We have to be before we become. It's one of my favorite sayings. If you want to be a healthier person, you have to do the things that a healthy person would do before you become a healthier person. You have to be that version of yourself to become whatever it is you want to become. Yeah. The habits that you choose have to be checklistable. I know that's not a word, but it'll do. Has to be checklistable. So, if your relationship with your body is an area that was quite low, this is a really good one. You don't want your habit to be like, I'm just going to eat healthy. I'm going to start eating healthy. We hear that a lot when it comes to the new year, right? New Year's resolution. I'm just going to eat healthy. so vague. It's just like, you don't know whether you've done that or not really. You need to pick really specific things. It could be, I'm going to drink 2 liters of water. I'm going to make sure that I eat breakfast every morning, and I'm going to go for a walk 3 times a week. Things that you can tick off, hold yourself accountable to, black and white. I did it or I didn't do it. Yeah. And the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself is ask yourself, how will this habit directly impact the area of my life that I want to improve? If you can answer that question, if you know why it's worth the time, the energy, the resource, the effort it is going to take to fulfill those habits, if you can see how it's directly going to lift that area of your life, and then even more powerful would be to sit there and think, okay, if this area of my life improved, what other areas would kind of rise with it? Or how else, would my life improve? What would that area transfer to? Once you get that going, once you understand why the thoughts, beliefs, and actions of these tiny habits actually add up to something quite meaningful and large and powerful overall in your life, these decisions become really easy to make. And you go, hell yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I'm no longer going to ignore and repress and just neglect the areas of my life that don't feel that great. Yeah. Even though it's hard sometimes to really acknowledge and pay attention to the areas of our life that aren't so great, when we do, we give ourselves the ability to empower ourselves to move forward and to create that meaningful, fulfilled life that just feels good. 360 degrees of good. Yeah. Or as good as it can be right now. I want you to activate your energy in the new year. I want you to step into your power. I want you to understand that you are in full control of your experience in this beautiful, beautiful life of ours. And most of all, I would love you to stay connected, guys. I would love you to reach out and tell me what area of your life you would like to work on, what the habits you identified that would improve this area are, just basically what you're going to do. I love it. And we can have that conversation. And it's not about me telling you, yes, those habits are right or not. It's not for me to decide. It's your life, your habits, your choices, right? But it's nice to just have these conversations sometimes. It's nice to just curate this energy and these friendships where we're all just kind of like supporting each other and cheering for each other and, lifting each other up. So stay connected. Use the comments below these videos. Message me in a DM. And if you would like to work with me in January, there is still plenty of time to register. The Weight Loss Mindset Transformation Program is going to be an 8-week program. This isn't a diet and exercise plan. I'm going to give you guys that stuff because I know, everyone wants it. I can give that to you, but that's not the true power. The true power is going to be getting to the source very clearly of what holds you back and teaching you how to make such strong, empowered decisions. He's messaging me. My husband. It's probably like, what are you doing? I forgot what I was saying. We will end it there. Oh, I was talking about my program. No, I will not end it there. We're going to get to the source of what holds you back so that you can make strong, empowered decisions in every area of your life. It's going to be just completely transformational, and I cannot wait to get started. If you do register from now, I'm unlocking bonuses. The first bonus is your instant access to the online workout hub. Ooh, it's hundreds of online workouts that just people were just crazy about all year. It's been just insane how much people have loved the online workout hub. So if you register, you get exclusive access to every single workout that we released during lockdown this year. There are like hundreds of them, way too many for me to even wrap my head around the fact that we recorded and did. But that's the first bonus. So if you want to chat to me about the Weight Loss Mindset Transformation Program, message me and we'll have a conversation. I'll pop a little link below this video as well. But ultimately, you click a button on that page anyway, and it will send you straight to a chat with me and we can chat more about it. Alrighty, guys, have a great night. Let me stop sharing and I look forward to talking to you again soon.